Alrighty, hello everybody. Welcome to the Giga Geeks episode number 5. It's been a whole month. Holy shit. Didn't think it was gonna be I didn't even think it was gonna last this long, to be honest with you.
Oh my goodness. But look at you go.
I know. I mean, we got 2 days until Halloween, so let's start off with a PSA, ladies and gentlemen. Our PSA is gonna be make sure you check that candy when your kids bring it home. I know what you're thinking. When we were growing up, we didn't see the monsters. Now the monsters run for office. So utilize that time to go through your kids' candy and pick out the ones you want, because otherwise you're not getting it. You are not getting it. Today with me, I have DC, the Trash Panda. How are you today?
I'm alive today. I'm tired. It's been a
I know
day.
yeah, I'm sure. I mean, we're a little late because you had to go get groceries. Did you get anything good?
I just had to get milk. So unfortunately, I didn't fulfill my full destiny of just not coming back home.
That is actually on our list of things to get.
You're welcome. Oh, and then
Well,
I got LaCroix too, which
are you a big seltzer drinker?
yeah, it's what helped me quit drinking. But speaking of, I need to go grab it. Ugh. Ugh. I was like, I
Unprepared, ladies and
swear I
gentlemen.
brought one. Ugh.
Yeah, I after I became diabetic, it helped me stop drinking soda for the most part.
Yeah. See, and I hear that more than anything. And when people are surprised that like me drinking like seltzer waters help me quit drinking, they're like, "Ooh, like how?" And I'm like, when you're playing Xbox with the boys and all you hear is that like of the can, you're like, like I want one too.
Well,
And I'm like, you
I
know what?
mean, well, nowadays it's not even that; it's the stupid vape pens you hear.
What about the vape pens?
Oh, you don't tell me you vape.
It's the ADHD. Actually, they have come out with studies that when mo- most people on like under the neurodivergent like umbrella are more susceptible to being addicted to nicotine because it actually balances that part of your brain.
Interesting.
The more you know.
I I was lucky enough to quit smoking as I left the gates of Beaufort, South Carolina in 2015, so I haven't even looked back.
Yeah, but I feel like that's just a social thing with most people in the military. But either they really stick
Yeah,
with it or they
yeah.
don't. Because I think like Greg does Zen, but I think I've actually seen him use dip once in the last like 4.5 years.
I mean, we used to do that too. So, I mean, it's not
I smoke pot
any
to balance my
different.
demons. Yes.
Well, I
Oh,
have
geez.
the unfortunate luxury of one, not being able to do it because I work, and two, I'm allergic. So, not even once. Actually, that's not true once, but that's not a story I'd like to get into.
We'll just leave that where where it
Yeah.
needs to be then.
So, I've had quite a week. It's been busy at work, so I started reading, believe it or not.
You read?
I got a book from the
Marines can do that?
library. Some of us can,
Right.
not all of us.
Some of us can.
This is a book called Press Reset by Jason Schreier, and I'm actually really impressed with it. And what it is about is it's about the high turnover rate in the game industry.
Oh,
It's
that's why
about
you read it.
well, yeah, Jason Schreier has 3 books. This is actually the second one, and I did not read the first because the first and the third kind of go together. The first talks a lot about how Blizzard made like World of Warcraft and Diablo, and then the third one is about the bullshit that's happened with Blizzard in the last couple years before they were acquired by Microsoft.
Wasn't
Because
that like that was the whole like sexual harassment thing, right?
yeah,
Okay.
with Bobby Kotick and like
You can give me names; they don't mean anything to me.
I understand, but it's just it's talking about like the history of all of that. So I'm very interested in like
Hmm.
doing a dive into that, and I'd like to know a little more about the industry. And reading these books, I realize I am so glad I didn't go into it because they're so like one of the developers quoted and said, "Both my wife and I work in the industry." I'm paraphrasing, by the way. And he said, In the industry, it's not if you're going to get laid off, it's when."
Fair.
And because there's so many like closures of studios, it's just a common thing in the industry, and I can't imagine doing that every few years.
Like
For instance,
intentionally they do it, or is it just like
it's just the nature of the beast. These big corporate giants like EA and Disney was mentioned, and some of these others come in. They buy these companies, and then they let them make the game, and then unfortunately, like the game bloats, and there's not a lot of like room in the budget for keeping a studio open like that. For instance, Ken Levine. For a lot of gamers, that is a huge name. Ken Levine is the mastermind behind the BioShock series.
yeah, that's
Well,
go on.
they made the first BioShock. It became a critical success. So 2K, the guys that make all the NBA games and a bunch of the sport games, bought them, bought Irrational Games. And then they wanted Ken Levine to do something different, and they opened up another studio to make BioShock 2. BioShock 2 wasn't made by the same people. However, BioShock Infinite was made by Ken Levine and his team in Boston at Irrational Games. However, it took them a long time to develop the game, and at the very end, 2K was like, "Oh, we don't know if we're going to move forward with anything else." Ken Levine was like, "Fine, I want to do something smaller with a smaller team." And 2K was like, "Well, Irrational Games doesn't exist without Ken Levine," so they shut down the studio. There's there's been a few stories like that I'm reading, and it's very interesting as somebody who enjoys the product to realize that the people behind the product are probably working at a completely different company as soon as the game's finished. It's ridiculous.
Huh. The more you know. Learn
So
something new every day.
if you guys do want something to read, the books by Jason Schreier are fantastic. I would recommend them. But other than that, I've also been playing a weird little game on Steam. Not Call of Duty. That's
No.
we'll get into that later. I've been playing this stupid little indie game that I fell in love with. And let me pull it up in my library real quick, because I did not think I was going to like it. It's called TCG Card Shop Simulator.
Okay.
It's exactly what you're imagining it. It's
Okay.
because as a geek, I've played Pokemon, I've played Yu-Gi-Oh, I've played Magic the Gathering, which ended up being my favorite of the three. And I'd go to these card shops to play games and tournaments and buy new cards, obviously. And this stupid little game lets you run your own card shop.
Oh God.
I love it. Remember when we talked
Oh,
about
what
dad
is
games? How like,
dad games?
well, it's a newer term,
Mm.
and dad games kind of um and it kind of is these games that dads will play to work. So like a farming simulator or a pressure washer simulator or a lawn
Those
mowing
are
simulator,
so funny.
which are games that exist.
Oh, I
Yeah, my
know.
uncle just mentioned lawn mowing sim, and or games where inherently you're working. Like
I th- okay. Now
you
I'm
come home, Yeah, exactly. So you come home from work after the end of the day, and all you want to do is pressure wash something. Let me turn on Pressure Wash Simulator.
I don't understand.
I don't either, but it's just the mentality of working again, doing something and seeing something for it. Like I'm selling packs of cards for pennies just to try and make a profit, to buy more cards, to sell them, to make a little more profit. Maybe buy a table so people can play at my game shop.
Oh my gosh.
I don't it was recommended to me by um my adopted sister's brother. So my adopted brother, essentially. And
Gotcha.
I was like, I've seen it on Steam, and I was like, I don't think I'd enjoy that. It looks appealing, like it looks cool. And at a baby shower the other day, he was like, "Hey, you should try this." I'm like, "Fine." It's like $12. I bought it and I installed it at work on my Steam Deck, and I have not been able to put it down since.
There's one that my friend's been playing that's what is it? The supermarket
There is a
simulator.
supermarket simulator,
Oh my
yeah.
gosh, and it's so stupid. But what do I do when he's streaming? I'm like, oh my god. I get sucked into watching him.
Well,
But I'm
it's
like,
just like
you
Stardew
man.
Valley. Like there's
Ugh.
there's this genre of video games where you are working that is somehow, I feel, therapeutic in a way.
So I saw the most the rudest post ever about Stardew. And it was Stardew is just for girls that want to live their cottage gore life. I'm like, ouch. Like they're farming
That's
cottage gore life. And I'm like, I hate it here.
that seems like a post from a guy that is very insecure about himself.
It was from a female.
Oh, I mean,
Unless she
that could be
snagged
it
it
too.
from a man. I was like, oh,
Because
okay.
because I used to do videos with a gentleman who like to quote unquote call games like that gay. And I no
Yeah, they
longer
make me
associate
very
with him.
happy.
Well, precisely. I don't really associate with him anymore because I don't think he knows how to have fun. Because here's the thing, games don't always have to be me running around with a gun shooting somebody to have fun. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Some sometimes
Or
being able
slashing somebody
to
with a great sword.
oh, for sure. Like despite Fable being one of my favorite games, I've been
Yeah.
playing this card simulator with the same enthusiasm as I would playing Fable. Some guy comes into my shop smelling like garbage. He comes in with green smoke around him. I grabbed a spray off my goddamn shelf and I spray him down.
So
Don't you come into my shop smelling like garbage. I'll make you smell like roses before you leave. And then he proceeds to buy $600 worth of cards.
My
Attaboy.
friend that as the store simulator just jumped in my chat, and I was like, I was just talking about you. My ears were burning. I was talking about your stupid store simulator game. You love
I,
my
I
store simulator. I'm
it
like,
just I swore, like, after I left retail, I'm like, I hate retail. I never want to work it again. And then playing this game,
here you
it
are
hit,
working retail.
here I am. I'm like, here I am playing store simulator. I'm selling packs of Pokemon cards essentially. Like, ugh. And plushies,
Yeah.
like you can unlock board games, comic books, stuff like that. Like the game is still in early access, so there's a lot of stuff that they're going to add to it. And one of them
Oh
I'm
boy.
looking forward to is the game that you sell will end up being playable at some point within the game.
So a game within a game within a game within a game. Got it.
Inception. Dun, dun, dun.
Dun dun dun.
I'm just saying, I think it really has really let me oh yeah, let me look at the store page. It has overwhelmingly positive reviews. Overwhelmingly positive is insane on Steam.
That's just
Um,
wild to me, though. It's so funny.
let me I'm gonna read one of the shorter reviews on it. It's from Fatty Von Lardass,
Okay.
which is hilarious. It says, as a neckbeard, this game lets me live out my fantasy of owning the local game shop, which I'm too slow and too fat to run myself. I only wish the game let me vape as I run the shop to complete the immersion into my delusions of a future of productivity.
Oh my god. Whoa.
Oh, that is great. Okay, one more. From Nuke. The game is great if you ever have a card game addiction before. Opening packs is so satisfying. I can't wait for the future updates with grading. So you're going to be able to grade your cards and sell them that way, which will be
Oh my
cool.
gosh.
Which might open up the possibility of misprints. So the developers are they are taking this game very seriously, and is looking super good. And it runs really well on my Steam Deck, especially on the OLED. Like, is fantastic. And it's just one of those games I can play while I'm sitting on the sofa or out and about, just grinding away at something.
You play it
Because
while you're
right,
working too?
oh yeah.
Okay.
Well, here's the thing. At my work, I work in the train yard, so I will go move a train over to the station, and then I'll come back to like the yard trailer, and we'll sit around until we have to move something again. Like, you have time frames for when trains leave, so you're rotating them in and out of station, or
Right.
you're in the yard adding coaches or taking off coaches. Well, putting them in the shop, they still have to work on it in the shop. So what are you doing? You're sitting around. So
Gotta
I
pass time
usually
somehow.
exactly my point. So that's why I've been reading and I've been playing Trading Card Simulator, and sometimes both at the same time. I will look up and there'll be a customer at my desk like, "Whoa, Jesus!" I'm like,
uh,
I would like to buy this, please. It's just, I love it. It's such a fun game.
oh, geez.
Have you been playing anything else other than Call of Duty?
Lately, no. And I realized that the other day because I'm like, because I'll hop into Reckless's stream, and the second
Mm.
that you chat, and there's a couple other people that like the second you chat, it's like it does an instant shout out and it does whatever last game you played or streamed. And I'm like, did I literally only play COD yesterday? Did I play COD yesterday? I'm like, oh my gosh. I'm like, I got stuck with this group.
Well,
And
I've always
blessed
been.
Greg will sit in the voice chat with us too. And oh my God.
I know he was so quiet the other day when we were playing.
I don't, he's usually quiet, but it's nice for me having him there because I'm like, oh my God, babe. But you haven't sat in a voice chat with Meepy when we're playing Call of Duty.
Yeah, I have.
Have
That
you?
first night we played together, yeah.
Oh, okay. Yes.
But we were
The-
playing Modern Warfare 3, and I was like, God, I wish Black Ops was out. Because that was the day,
right.
the first day we played together was I
Like
think
a
the day
week
or two
before.
before Black Ops came out, and I was like, oh, I
Hmm.
can't wait for whatever. I can't remember exactly what day. But
I
yeah,
think it was
Meepy
like the
was
week
on.
before, but oh my, yeah. She is wild. But I love playing with her. I'm like, yes, someone is angry with me. But
I am really enjoying the new Call of Duty. I can't say anything about the campaign. I haven't touched the campaign. I don't know if I will, because that's not the
I
reason why I play Call of Duties.
I think the last campaign that I did, I was still with Ammon. So that says that's a long time. That was at least 5 years ago.
The last one I played was World War II, and the one before that was Advanced Warfare. And there's been games in between all of those. So
Well,
I
Geth got the most out of Vanguard out of between me and Greg and Geth, which was great. I'm
Mm-hmm.
glad it actually came to use because I got it for Greg for Christmas, but
Mm-hmm.
he and I literally played like maybe 5 matches of multiplayer and did all the maps on 1v1s that we could, and then
Mm-hmm.
never touched it again.
Yeah, I heard Vanguard wasn't the best of the series. It's actually
Beth
the one that I
played the
saw.
crap out of it though. I hated it
If
though.
it felt like I feel like it fell off the face of the earth after it released.
It really did. It was like 2 months maybe, and then everybody went back to Cold War.
Because that was the one I skipped. I didn't play Vanguard, and it sucks because I like the World War II setting, but it feels like that was the one that kind of
It
started adding some of that DEI stuff, and it was kind of like a turnoff.
and it flopped. It flopped really bad.
Yeah. Well, Black Ops is getting good reviews. I mean, I've seen a lot of like negative stuff on
Yeah,
Facebook or on YouTube as well, but as far as
I
like
can just
the yeah.
as far as what go.
I was gonna say, as far as like the multiplayer and the zombies go, though, I fucking love it. It
I
feels
like
great.
zombies this go round because there's one of our friends in like our little group on Reckless's uh Discord. He hasn't gotten Black Ops, and so I was like, okay, like I can do zombies on uh Modern Warfare
Warzone.
3. Yeah, thank you. And so I like it and I don't because it's like DMZ
Mm-hmm.
where you have like the whole map and it's like just doing little objectives where it's not just I don't know. I like it but I don't, but I like how they brought back rounds with this one.
I'm very with you. I did enjoy the DMZ kind of zombies. Like it was a change of pace. It was nice. I got to just go out there and kill shit if I wanted to, and sit on a building popping zombies in the skull. But
Yeah.
at
And
the end of
I'm
the
basically
day, like I didn't feel, unless you went in towards the center of the map, you weren't really getting the challenge. And
no.
I was like, I missed the rounds, and I'm glad that the rounds came back, but they added a lot of what they had in the open world one, the Warzone one. Like they added the armor plates and everything that you can
Yes.
use.
That's
You can
okay. I was like,
upgrade
what
some of
part is
that stuff.
different? But yeah. I think the
They
last time
have
I did zombies was Black Ops 2.
mhm. Black Ops.
So
I was thinking about buying. I think it was Black Ops 3. But Black Ops 3 brought all the maps back from
yeah.
the original games. And I was thinking about buying it for my Steam Deck just to like play zombies. Just
Just to play
no,
zombies. Although
because and
my only
because zombies is the
downside,
zombies is great to me.
I I like how the zombies is now again, but I've noticed with playing with everybody else, I need to just buy the new Xbox. I'm gonna d- I'm gonna die saying this. Like I just need to go buy it because I can tell when I'm in multiplayer, especially if I'm watching someone else streaming it. I'm like, all right, so you're already like 5 kills in, and I'm just now picking my loadout. Like it sucks, and like it's with every game. Like playing Fortnite. Like by the time Greg's already jumped, I'm like, thank the bus driver, and I'll go. Like it just
What's
sucks.
that? We got to start Kickstarter for you to try and get you or GoFundMe for a new
I
Xbox.
know, I need to. I thought about it. I was like, I wonder what
Well,
the
they
odds would be with like putting my Cash App on my page.
well
Like,
you would
help me get
have
the new Xbox.
a few different options now with the Xbox. You have the all white digital Series
Oh
X that just came
no.
out. You have the 2 terabyte one I got, which that's like $700.
Yeah, I'm not doing that.
You
See, my thing is like,
they also have a black Series X or Series S that has a terabyte. So if you don't want to
hold on,
go
we said that I
full
needed
on
the
gamer
an
mode,
S, or
the
that I would
S
do better with
is
the X.
I mean, you would be better with the X in general
That's
because
what
it
okay,
runs
that's what I
things a little
thought.
better.
Yeah. Well,
Um,
that's all I do.
Ken
But
Ken does bring up something. Thank you, Ken. I appreciate that. He said, "Don't forget about all access. There is a way to pay monthly for Xbox and get Game Pass at the same
And I
time."
saw that too. I was actually just thinking about that because I was looking at the Microsoft store just like, and I scrolled all the way down and I'm like, oh, like you can do monthly payments on this thing. Like,
Yeah, I mean,
ah,
that is definitely a solid option. Like, I
I
didn't even
know.
think of that because, of course, I didn't think of it. I always buy my consoles
Just buy.
outright.
Yeah. See, and that's my
But
thing too, is I'm like, I could just make the payments or I could just like not worry about it.
it, I mean, I think it wraps or it brings both everything all together. Like, you're paying for your Xbox and Game Pass at
I
the
was gonna
same
say because
time,
there's the full access. That's what I
which I mean,
yeah.
for gamers on a budget, I'm really glad that Xbox has that kind of program because if you think about PlayStation doesn't have anything like that.
See, and I feel like that's a good marketing tactic though, because more people are opt to put in for a monthly payment with extras than they
Mhm.
are to just like, oh, let me just drop this money real quick.
Yeah, I mean, you're still gonna pay for it right off or at some point, but you're still getting a console and Game Pass for a low monthly price. I think it's like I the last I saw it, you can get it as low as like $25. I could be wrong,
Yeah.
but that's maybe an hour or two worth of work a month in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah. Depending on the day. That's why like today just sucked, dude. I did 2 haircuts and a hair color all
Oh,
day. But I got a lot of homework done. It's
are
like
you
you want
going
to
to
talk
school
about
for something?
yeah, it's like you want to talk about downtime. I'm like, I need to really just dive back into school um
Mhm.
to kind of dip into a little dark hole here. So one of my really good army vet friends um offed himself a couple weeks ago. Really suffered with PTSD. And so I'm getting my psychology degree to actually like help veterans, not through the VA, because
Mhm.
VA's trash especially when it comes to doing mental health stuff. It's just garbage. And so after his funeral service yesterday, his dad was just super awesome. Said so many encouraging words once I told him like I really wanted his like boot camp army photo. I was like,
Mhm.
I just want that to put in my office like down the road just to
For like a reason.
yeah. So we got shirts for his funeral. I didn't think this many people were gonna actually get this shirt, but like I'd say like 75%, even the parents got it. It's not all battles are fought on the battlefield and then
Mhm.
PTSD awareness on it. Super cool, but yeah, it was definitely a bigger eye opener for me to like remember why I started getting my psychology degree. I'm like, I just need to get it done.
As a vet that has PTSD as well, I think that's very admirable, and I greatly appreciate you trying
Oh
to get into
yeah.
that. I have a
It's not
few.
easy, but
No, I mean, I'm lucky enough that most of mine I saw a lot of therapists about it. There's still things I can't do, such as going into crowds. I have issues with crowds.
yeah.
And most people are like, "Well, you work on trains." When you're
But you're
stuck in a
not
tin can, you don't notice the crowd so much.
yeah, but if it's like concerts and
Concerts, I was able to I went to Rammstein here maybe last year or the year before, I can't remember, with my beautiful wife, and I was lucky enough that she got me the, well, we bought the tickets during COVID for my birthday.
oh geez.
They postponed it, so when we finally got to the concert, they had put everybody down in the mosh pit.
Oh yeah.
Ain't fucking happening for me. So
No.
my beautiful wife went upstairs to the ticket office or to the whoever it was. It was like, my husband is a disabled vet. He cannot be standing down there in the mosh pit. And they're like, oh, what branch? She was like, Marine Corps. They're like, oh, awesome. Here, we'll give you the handicap seats right down. And I had a
Cool.
great view of the show. I'm like, I've never been so glad I'm handicapped in my life. Because I also blew out both my knees in the Marine Corps, so it's very hard for me to stand for very long periods. And
True.
it was just
True.
I was like, oh yes, a seat.
Go wifey.
But it was but back to my point. Yeah, I was very grateful for the therapists and psychologists I got to see, but it is still the VA is not very good at helping because I still have to go in and fight to prove that I have PTSD, despite the fact that I've had 2 years of somebody saying, "Oh yeah, he's got it."
And that's what drives me insane. Is it's like you have to go through so many stupid loopholes to try and get somewhere. And it's like the
Mhm.
mental health industry is already struggling enough as it is. It's like the least I can do is at least like
Open up your own
help.
practice.
Yeah. And
Hmm.
even then, a lot of my clients, I'd say a good 75% of my clientele is military men. And most of the time, it's usually like the first or the second time that I'm cutting their hair, they will straight just trauma dump, if you will. And I don't care. I like to listen. And that's why I know that, like, I just have this thing about me. And I had just one of them. The first time I cut his hair, he said the most out of pocket, like, darkest joke. I can't remember it now, but I'm like, trying not to laugh hysterically. And he's like, it's okay to laugh. And I'm like, I know, but I was like, that's so messed up, dude. He's like, I know, I'm sorry. I'm like, what branch were you? He's like,
Mhm.
oh, I was in the army. I'm like, okay, it checks out. He's like, well, how'd you know that? And I'm like,
Because it's
I
not the
know how.
darkest I've heard.
No. Yeah. And then like after that, he just like went off, and I'm like, cool. But then at the very end, he's like, he's going to like like swipe his card, and he goes, oh my gosh, I just completely unloaded on you. I'm like, dude, you're just my friendly reminder that I'm doing the schooling that I'm doing for a reason.
Now just leave it in the tip.
Yeah. Yeah. But
I
no, and it's it's very eye-opening, but then at the same time I'm like, it's one of those just connections that I can make with people that's really, really well, especially
Mhm.
now, like gaming more. I've noticed that a lot more of like my veteran friends have just been like, we'll just be sitting there in party chat and just gaming along, not even playing the same game half the time. Then
Mhm.
it's just everything gets unloaded. I'm like, cool. Like let your flag fly, bro.
Well, I mean, Goff is one of the buddies I met, Gregory, like in the Marine Corps. So him and
Yes.
I knew. Fucking Meyer, being the dumbass that he is, was my roommate for a while.
You poor thing.
Yeah, yeah. Eh, Still have nightmares about him.
I'm sorry.
Well, he used to wear silkies and he had a hammer in his trunks, and it
Yeah,
just
I'm aware. I've seen the Silkies, and it is one of those images that's just glued to your brain.
it just burned in
That
your
right
brain,
there
right?
is the PTSD.
That's the PTSD. Yeah. But it's just
Like I didn't
it,
even see war. I saw that.
I'm sure a lot of us all say the same thing. I have a buddy at work that was Army, and we all think the same thing. That the thing that we miss about the military most is the camaraderie.
Oh yeah.
Like one of the best things was You have a 96, which for those of you that don't know is a 4-day weekend where you have a holiday on like a Thursday or a Friday or a Monday or a Tuesday, and they just give you the whole weekend. As an MP, I didn't get a lot of those. However, when you did, you'd be like, go next door, knock on the barracks door, like, hey, you want to go get breakfast? No? All right, put some pants on. I'll talk to you later. And then you go
Yeah.
to the next door and you knock on the door and be like, hey, you want to go to the breakfast? Okay, put some pants on. Let's go.
Let's go.
Like,
It is
and
just
it didn't even have to be somebody that you're really friendly with. It was just
like, hey,
like
we all have this time. Let's make the best out of it.
exactly. And I'd always have this friend. I don't know if you know who he is, but Justin Knowles.
I've heard about him.
He was my roommate for a while, and I'd be like, "Hey, you want to go get breakfast?" He'd be like, "I don't have any money."
Like, bro, I don't give a
Knowles,
shit.
that's not what I was asking. Do
Are
you
you
want to go get fucking breakfast?
Yep.
He'd be like, "Yeah." I'm like, "All right, let's go. Get in the car." He got-
Get some pants on. Let's go.
and I'd be lying if I was the one that said, "Hey, I don't have any money," and somebody's like, did the same thing to me. I'm like,
Yeah. It doesn't matter.
"All right, I'll
Someone
get you next time." Like, it's
and
you
it's not
don't
even
find
like a
that.
transactional kind of friendship. It's just like, you know what? Like
It,
it's
it it never was. Like I have my AC, my assistant conductor right now. Sometimes he like doesn't have his wallet on him, or he doesn't have uh cash or whatever at the time. And
yeah.
I'm like, hey, you want breakfast? He's like, I don't have any. I can't pay you back. I'm like, don't worry about it. And
I didn't
I
ask
was
you
like,
that.
I'm ordering McDonald's on the app. Do you want a sandwich or not?
Sandwich.
And he's like, yes. And then he's like, okay, I'll get lunch next time. I'm like, I'm not doing this because I want something from you. Like, chill out,
Just
guy.
chill. Yeah. See, and even
But I
my
want,
good friend Nicole and I do the same shit. Like when she
I
was
mean,
pregnant, she'd be like, "Crap, I forgot my wallet." I'm like, "Can I?" I would just go straight to McDonald's. I need 2 cheeseburgers with extra cheese, no onions, and a large
mhm.
fry, and a medium Dr. Pepper.
Exactly. Friends take care of each other.
And God, the amount of drinks that she used to buy me, yes, she could have all the McDonald's from me.
Exactly. Like I said, that's the one thing I miss from the military, and that's what I get from like gaming in general is my friends may be halfway across the US. Like Gregory's out west somewhere with you somewhere. I don't know. Where's he at?
Virginia?
Ew. Okay, never mind. He's not that far. But
Bro, I'm like, no, once I move, I told him, I'm like, when I move, we're going up to see
mhm.
you. We're going up to see Geth. I gotta make friends with Caitlin even more. I'm like, we're going places and we're going to see your friends.
Mhm. They it's just I have friends on the West Coast. I don't talk to
I
Meyer too
mean,
often anymore, but I know a lot of them went out that way.
we got
And
Rose, we got Micah,
yeah, like
Austin.
that's the
It's
thing.
so
Like
weird because like our bigger group, it's like I'd say half of us are here.
mhm. For me, it's not that easy. Like I don't have anybody that I went to the Marine Corps with here. I have a buddy
Yeah.
that lives in Chicago. I have another buddy that lives in Arizona, and
And you
then
got
a, f-
Colorado.
a f- a few of them scattered out there. But the way we stay in touch is that we game,
Yeah.
and I know it's hard for most people to understand, but like I know it was very hard for my wife to understand for a little bit that I wanted to go game because I was gonna jump on with the guys.
Yeah.
Like she's like, "Why don't you go out and hang out with them?" And it's because I can't.
Let me book this flight really quick. Like,
Yeah, like
and
I
that
don't
was
have
one
any
thing.
even here. I don't have very many friends outside of work, and the people that I work with, I wouldn't want to hang out with outside of work for the most part. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
they're cool. I like them, but stay at work.
Yeah. Like, and that was one thing that I'm pretty sure I've told you. I know I've told everybody else. I've told Greg. I'm like, if you ever hear all you do is play games with the guys, slap me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, do not ever let me be that woman.
I mean, think about it this
Because
way
even
too. For
now, there's
all those girls that are like, "Oh, all my boyfriend does is play video games." Well, at least
I,
he's not out doing coke.
I freaking hate women, or not even girls that say that. They're like, there's like that whole like, oh my gosh, how can you date a gamer guy? I'm like, because I know where he's at on a Saturday night. Where's your man on a Saturday night? Out at the club?
Well,
Like,
it's just like that huge like news issue or topic earlier this year where a girl was like one of the most unattractive things about a man or is a gamer man or somebody that games as a hobby. Like,
yeah,
are you fucking that's not as attractive. That's the least attractive opposed to bird watching.
like, like I can't wrap my head around it because that's my thing. Is like with certain um just certain things that like give girls the ick, like
Mhm.
that one just bugs me. I It's one of those where I'm like, you're so stupid because
I don't it baffled me because I was like, do you know that like the percentage of men in the US that play video games? Like I'm sure it's astronomically higher than most other
oh
countries.
yeah,
Like it is the since COVID, it is the biggest hobby that has seen the most growth. Like
yeah,
people are stuck inside. What are they going to do? Well, I'm going to sit in front of my TV and play a video game.
games. But even then, it's like I'd say all of my like gamer guy friends either served just in general or they all served together.
Mhm.
But it's like, what else did you guys do other than drink and party in the barracks?
Well, I mean, we're not at liberty to talk about the rest.
Okay, that's why I said drink and party. Is playing video games.
Oh, exactly. Like
Because what else was
when I
there
was
to
in
do?
when I was in Japan, like there was only so much you could do on the island of Okinawa before you're like,
Seen it all?
I've kind of done it all. Like I don't really care about going out anymore. And then you had to decide, am I going to spend my paycheck on alcohol or video games? And because I'm not much of a drinker, I'd buy all the brand new games that came out that week, or I'd buy a ton of movies.
Oh my god.
But on an occasional weekend, all right, let's go blow $500 at the bar.
But even then, it's always I'd say most of the time it was, oh, like playing this video game during my time in the services. It's the most basic guy thing to do, but it's like I know where to find you.
Mm-hmm.
It's like
It.
one of my favorite little videos is like when you can't find Pookie in his two spots, and it's
Mm-hmm.
in front of the, the video games or on the toilet. I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, yep, if I can't find him, it's like, where's Pookie? It was like
Well,
Garfield, that's what it was. Where's Pookie?
speaking of that, it reminds me of what my wife did last night. I went upstairs to go put my little boy down,
Mm-hmm.
and I was having an issue. Like, I started down in the man cave. He was asleep. He was snoring in my arms. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go lay him down. The moment his head touched the pillow, he was awake again. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me?
Bruh.
Like, he is not. He's one and some change, and he's not sleeping through the night. And I know every kid's different. It's just last night I kind of cracked. I was like, I can't keep doing this. Like it's just a lot. Like I can't. It
Yeah.
my something clicked, and I was like, I can't. I just stood there on the side of his bed as he looked up at me, and I'm like, "Ugh."
Bruh.
And I heard my wife come up the stairs because I tried like laying him down a few times. Like, hey, I'm right here, buddy. please just go to sleep. And he just wouldn't. And he started crying. So as soon as my wife came up and took over, I came downstairs and I went and laid down on the sofa in the living room. After she was done, she came down to look for me. She went to go check the bedroom to see if I was laying down, and then went down to my man cave to see if I went back down there.
There's 2 spots that you were supposed to be.
And she came upstairs and texted me. And I'm like, I'm right here.
Right here.
Like,
he's
like,
Jesus.
I thought you went downstairs or went to bed. Like, I didn't know where you went. I'm like, this house isn't very big.
I'm right here.
Right here.
Oh,
But like, she knows that at the end of the day, that's where I'm gonna be.
That's where you're gonna be.
That's what I'm
That's
thinking
why I
about. I'm
don't
thinking,
understand the whole concept of like, I can never date a gamer guy. And I'm like,
yeah, he wants to be home. And I think a lot of the misconception is, oh, he doesn't pay attention to me. All he does is play video games. Okay, well, that's a him
play
problem.
with him. That's my
I
other
mean,
thing. That's one thing that I absolutely love is when Greg can actually find a game that we both can play together.
mhm.
He gets really excited about it, which gets me excited because I'm like, okay, and he wants to teach me how to play it.
Mhm.
And then after like a couple weeks or a couple months, he's like, "Fly, birdie." He's like, "You
You're a
got this. You
grown-ass
can do this
woman.
on
Learn
your
to play a
own."
game yourself.
No. Actually, which is funny, he told me to download Terra because we could play it together. Haven't played it together.
Is that an MMO?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
And
I
so
don't
I'm
I
like,
don't really
I
get into those
don't.
anymore.
Yeah, I like it, but I'm like, but I got through like most of the tutorial stuff, so now I'm like, when are we gonna play it together?
You're just waiting around like, I'm ready. Like, I could teach you how to play today. Like,
I know,
let's do
right?
this.
Actually, speaking of, he downloaded Black Ops.
Yeah. I mean, that's the best thing. Like, I was talking to my buddies at work. They're like, "Oh, we play on PlayStation. It's the best." I'm like, "Yeah, but you paid for Black Ops."
Sucker.
Yeah.
Well, and that was my thing too, was I was like, I just made like a little comment about it because we were all playing. And I was like, it's on Game Pass.
Well,
Like, he
yeah,
didn't say anything.
that was the other night when you and I were still playing because we
Yeah,
played. He jumped off, then a few of the other guys jumped off, and it was just you and me just playing
right.
hardcore.
Yeah. And then last night he sent me a Snapchat. He's like, "Oh, by the way," and I'm like, "Yay!" I was like, "You didn't have to if you didn't want to, but
Like, that's the way to play something like that now. Like, Call of Duty is great because it's on Game Pass finally. And
yeah,
as like myself, I I've hated buying Call of Duties in the past because I don't keep playing it past a few months. Like, I play the multiplayer to death and then I never touch it again. And it just sucks because I'm out that $80.
yeah, dude." Speaking of like being out of like, I spent what, $60-$70
Mhm.
for Sword Art online.
The video game, like, there's 2 of them, right?
Yeah, well, there's a ton of them, but it was like, um, one of the newer ones. I think it's like the second to last one, but I know there's another one coming out soon. I
I
think.
I was gonna say, I see them on sale all the time on the Xbox shop.
Yeah, and I did buy it on sale, but it's still
Mhm.
like, it was so disappointing. And I don't know if I just had way too high expectations of it, and I'm
I mean,
comparing
the
it too
anime made it
hard with
the
the anime.
premise of the anime was great. I mean, the first season. I didn't watch past the first season because I think it was a good, like, ending there.
See, and I kept going with it. I mean, I couldn't tell you jack squat about what happens through the whole thing, but I'm just terrible at doing that
Mhm.
anyways. I don't know why. I'm so upset about it.
I mean, they definitely didn't do what I'm sure they didn't follow like the premise of the show where it was this huge open world MMO type of thing. Like it had a
It kind of
story. It
is, but it
was
isn't.
yeah.
And I'm sure the story is going to be great if I decide to actually pick it back up again, but it's still like it's the dumbest, most benign thing to be so bent out of shape about. But how in the show, like everything like shatters like glass when you kill something.
Yeah.
No, you don't
Doesn't
know
happen.
until you're like 10 swings after it dies.
Oh,
It drives me
joy.
insane. I don't know. Like, it's so stupid. But at the same time, I'm like, in my brain, I'm like, I'm just comparing it too hard with the anime. I'm like,
I mean, on something that's based off of an IP, yeah, why wouldn't you?
even
You
on
know?
a phone game for Sword Art, that's what it does. Nope. And it's
Yeah.
just disappointing to my little weeb heart, is what it is. Like, this
I've
isn't how
I've
it goes.
I've watched very few animes. It's not a kind of animation that I'm really fond of. And I'm not saying it's not cool. Like I have watched some of my like my favorite is Cowboy Bebop. I
Oh,
will
you're so basic.
watch I know.
I say
I
that
watch
as
the
I
hell out
like
of
Sword
Cowboy
Art.
Bebop. But I also like Trigun. I
Checks
like
out.
Robotech, which is an older mech anime.
Checks out. Oh my
Used to
god,
like
that's good.
Gundam. Gundam and Dragon Ball to me have kind of like gone past their prime, in
See,
my
and that's how I
opinion.
feel with Inuyasha, because that's like where
Hmm.
I started. And then it's like, I like how they did, I forgot what the show is called now, but it's like their kids doing stuff.
Mm.
But I'm like, okay, like it's kind of
But
overdrawn out.
it's just one of those things. Like I mean, I used to watch Inuyasha on Adult Swim, and
Yeah,
there's a few
Toonami.
others where you're up late at night and you're like, oh, I shouldn't be watching this because it's adult, and then you like go back and you're like, this is tame as fuck.
It was Toonami, not Adult Swim.
Was it? Oh, I
Mhm.
can't. It's been a while. There's a few. Oh, Big O was one on Adult Swim, I think. I remember staying up late watching Adult Swim with my grandpa chicks playing computer. So there's a few shows that
OG.
still stick in my head. But as far as like anime goes, I couldn't get into things like Naruto. Like it didn't vibe with
Naruto?
me.
What the
Naruto,
fuck did
whatever you
you
want.
just
Listen here.
Naruto?
I'm a fucking white guy. I'll say it how I want.
I don't give a fuck. I'm
But
calling
but
Gregory.
that's call him. Tell him come fight me.
Even my friend,
Drive up from
Natasha's
Virginia.
girl, is in here, and she's gonna lose her shit.
It's just it doesn't appeal to me, and it's just like how I want to talk about gaming as a fact where there are games that just won't appeal to somebody, and instead of bad mouthing it, like I'm just gonna say it wasn't for me. Like I
Yeah,
can't. I just didn't vibe with it. I'm not gonna
yeah.
bad talk it because somebody else loves it, and I'm not gonna take that away
Different
from them.
strokes for different folks.
There is a new anime that I really liked, and it was on Netflix, and it was Terminator Zero. Like they have a Terminator or anime, which was stellar. I
What?
loved it.
Huh.
I see it. How dare.
I know.
I'm just saying it wasn't for me. Like at some point, like I like gritty stuff. Like I like Blood Sea, which is very,
Oh,
very violent.
such a good one. Oh,
I if the older I've gotten, the more I want more more violence, more
more
adult
violence. Hey
entertainment.
kids, do
You
you
know what
like
I mean?
violence?
Exactly. I Berserk. Ah, I love Berserk. That's a really good one.
Yes.
I keep seeing somebody around the area that's trying to sell all the graphic novels, and I'm like, for $50 a novel, yeah, not worth it to me. And
See,
they're all
then
hardcover too. Yeah.
Stop. Oh, my
Ah,
heart.
you can only come so hard, huh?
I know. Oh shit, no.
But I
Oh
just
man.
keep saying it, and I'm like, if I had if I wasn't focused on buying video games and my Lego sets, then that may have
Then
been one of the few
yeah.
series I'd own, because I'm sure it's way better than the anime. I've heard really good
Yeah.
things about like the graphic novel side of it.
Oh, Claymore is also really, really good. Uh
Mhm.
super old, but that one's a really good
Ha-
one.
have you ever seen like the Vinland Saga on Netflix? It's a
Yeah.
Viking anime, and I really dig it because it was Viking. That's really what it is.
It was a little difficult for me to get into. But
Well,
oh goodness, like even with me having Itachi's girl in here, the one game that actually did meet to my expectations is um Attack on Titan.
mm,
Like
yeah.
from anime to video game. I
Was the
l-
video game good? I kept seeing it on um
yes.
I kept seeing it on Xbox, and it was for sale, and I'm like, I don't know
Yeah,
if I'd get into it. And
that's when
that's
I
my
bought it and I love it. I just like how real in a sense that it feels to where like actually using your ODM gear
Mhm.
and going for these titans, it's like you can't hit them at too slow of a speed, and it's like fair. But
Yeah.
I also just love the anime, and so it was that one definitely met my expectations as far as like from anime to game.
And it's crazy because there are games that like appeal to me. Like I can't remember, Scarlet Nexus, I think, is an anime like anime-esque type game that I keep seeing on sale. And they sold, and I'm like, it looks cool, but the issue I have is some games like that are like they're really, really big menu-based games. Like, you have a lot of systems that work together, and as a gamer, as a dad, as somebody who's busy all the time, I don't have time to, like, learn a bunch of systems to play a game. I need something
Yeah.
simple, you know what I mean? Which is why I
Oh,
like Western RPGs more than I like, um, Asian RPGs. It's why I never got into Final Fantasy. I know, hot take,
we gonna
right?
we gonna throw hands when I meet you.
Now,
I'm
here's
just
the
gonna
thing,
come up to you and just smack.
I respect the pedigree of Final
I
Fantasy.
do, yeah. I love Final Fantasy.
However, it is not something I personally was able to get into, except, funnily enough, Final Fantasy Tactics.
Yeah,
And
that one.
I
uh,
I
eh.
just and it's a shame because the newer games are more westernized, where the combat's real time, like a Fable or like a
Yeah,
Witcher type of thing, and if I feel like that's something that I would love to get into. However, my issue is also with my money, because at the time that the
yeah.
most of those come out, there's something else I'd rather be playing. And if I bought Final Fantasy for $70, it'd be sitting on my backlog as a $70 purchase I didn't play.
Um, okay, well, I'm still on the thing.
Hi.
So he says hi. Oh,
Oh. Yeah.
okay. Go on and get. I'm still talking on the podcast. What? Oh my goodness. Okay. Oh my god. Okay.
It sounds like you need a child gate.
Okay. Go, so I can finish this up and then we'll do something for dinner.
But I'm funny.
Oh, yeah. I'll make a podcast one day. Nikki says, "Hey,
I'm
Brad."
hilarious.
Sure.
She has like 3 Nikki friends.
No. From vet clinic.
Was she out at work? I mean,
At the party? Yes. She was a cat.
Right, Nicki Minaj.
Apparently you're Nicki Minaj. More like a muscle.
I'm Nicki
Okay.
Minaj. Oh,
No,
Nikki in
last
the
you
chat.
tell
Okay. Oh, I was gonna say I'm definitely not the right color for that.
Neither is she. Oh my gosh.
So yeah,
Anywho.
Scarlet Nexus looked good. The Yakuza series looked good. Those are on Game Pass, so I've definitely like contemplated playing those. But as far as like games coming out, I'm more interested in like I just realized this, by the way, looking it up, because I'm in the process of getting ready to start doing a review for Dragon Age.
Right.
I've purposely ignored all the terrible reviews that have come out so far. They've been very mixed. I've seen like some of the scores, and I'm like, okay, it's all over the place. So how am I going to feel about it? I haven't been listening to them though, because that's the issue. I don't want anything biased.
Right.
1, 2, 3, 4. There, you got the password. Keep going.
What? I don't know. Go. Okay. No, the passcode is something she would never guess.
Your birthday?
Nope. It has to do with Greg. It's a 4-digit number.
It's Greg's birthday.
Nope.
It's
Even
his last
harder.
4. Military, baby. Everything had our last 4 on it.
Oh no, I meant on his gamer tag. No, the last
Dragon
one
Age
is gamer
D.
tag.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Dragon Age DEI. It's funny that you say that, because yeah, that's the exact reason why like a lot of people are bad mouthing it. However, I don't let shit like that cloud my judgment on whether or not I like a game. I will say if it is blatantly obvious, like that's what they're trying to push. But as far as like being the kind of person I am, it's not something I'm looking for, because the representation has nothing to do with me. I'm going to play as a white guy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And I think the only person's judgment that I actually consider is your guys's, but mostly Greg's. But Greg knows how
Yeah.
I play better than anybody else. So like if it's something that I just would not get into, he's like, I mean, you can try it, but
Well, the reason why I bring it up is because it releases on Halloween of all fucking days.
ooh.
Why would a game like that come out on a day that you dress up as something else?
Gotta engage that inner cosplayer somehow. Oh my god.
I'm just it's a game I'm looking forward to playing. I'm gonna like do the first 2 hours so I don't ruin it, but I'm gonna play the game all the way through before I actually sit down and like talk and make my video. And I'm gonna be
Right.
maybe a week or 2 behind everybody else. But
Yeah.
I want to go into it with a clear slate, not knowing what's coming up.
Right. So just avoiding everything.
Yeah, it's
See,
been a
I don't
pain in the
even-
ass.
Other than Black Ops, and I think Paleo. Well, I got Paleo Pines like a year later than it launched, but it didn't come out on the Xbox One until like 9 months after the fact. Because Greg had found it and he was like, "Oh, this is going to be your Christmas present," and I'm like, "You need to make sure that it's going to be on my console," and then it wasn't. I was like, "Told you," and then almost by my birthday, I was like, "Oh, it's on sale. Oh, now I can get it on Xbox." But
Well,
There's
I mean,
nothing
my
really
hope
new that
that
appeals
you're
to my
looking forward to.
brain, but then anything that's new, I can't play it anyways. Actually, I take that back. There's one game that's not launched yet. I think it's Mecha Break. That one looks really cool.
I think I've seen
'Cause it's like
something about
Battle
that.
Royale, like Titanfall. I would say
Mm.
like Battle Royale, Titanfall plus Anthem.
God, I
like-
loved Titanfall.
I missed that game. I wish those servers never died.
Well, I mean, Titanfall 2 servers are still up.
The last time that Greg and I tried, couldn't get in to
Really?
anything. Yeah.
That
I mean,
sucks.
that was a couple
I remember
years
when
ago, but
I remember when Titanfall 2 released and it was sandwiched between Call of Duty and Battlefield, the two biggest first person shooter giants, and that's what tanked the game. And it's funny because EA owns Battlefield as well and basically sent Titanfall 2 out to die.
because that was like 2016.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
can't remember which Call of Duty it came out with, but it was the brand new one and Battlefield. And
Because that was
like
Battlefield 5. or
because
4.
EA owned Respawn and Respawn made Titanfall.
What was call it? I was like, what game was it?
I was gonna say I don't know which Call of Duty it was. I want to say it was Advanced Warfare, but I
Infinite.
could be wrong. Infinite. That
Mm,
sounds about right.
Yeah, October 14th, 2016. So then
Was that Infinite?
Infinite, yeah.
Mhm.
And 2016 that was Battlefield 1, that was 2016. Holy cow.
Shit.
So that was technically that was when I first met Greg. Was Battlefield 1. Cuz I wanted to start playing with Josh,
Mhm.
but I sucked at video games. Shocker.
Mm.
And then
I mean, not
Ammon
much has
would
changed.
play.
I have played with you.
No. So then Ammon started playing with Josh, Wes, Greg. There was a couple other ones. I want to say Geth, but I could be very, very wrong. But there
Mhm.
was a handful of us that would play. I would just sit in party chat and talk shit. And then
Atta
Ammon
girl.
would be like, oh, let me go get us more beer. And then like, don't die. And I'm like, you guys hold my hand. I don't know what I'm doing.
I do my best to carry you through the match.
I know. No, I always tell everybody that like I've been playing Call of Duty with. I'm like, just wait there, I'll bring him to you. And sure shit. I walk around the corner, I'm like, there he is.
Or I'm running to go kill somebody and then you kill me.
You're
There's
not
no in
the only
between.
one.
I
Oh,
know.
dude. I'll have to tag you in the video that I posted in the Discord of like
Ah,
me TKing Reckless because it was so bad.
the
So bad. Because it was during hardcore and he was like way across the map and I like shot, like I just kept shooting, spraying and praying, and then right at the last second his name popped up and I was still holding the trigger. I
Oof.
was like, no.
I mean, the other
God
night with
damn
Mosh
it.
Pit was the worst in the world because the maps were so tiny. Like there wasn't any choice but to shoot your own guy
It's
sometimes.
that's why I really don't like the small maps on Black Ops right now. They're
No, they're really tight.
way too small. It's like the one house one.
The apartment building that we kept fucking getting into for some
Everybody
reason.
kept TKing. That one needs to be a 3v3, and you can't change my mind about it. It's
No, I'm with you.
6v6 is too much.
Because you would spawn in next to the guy that's about to shoot you and then just die. If you weren't
It-
holding down the trigger when you respawn, there was a chance you were gonna die.
Well, that or you're sitting there, like Reckless was streaming earlier, and I saw him like sitting in one spot, that same map, like out
Mhm.
on the balcony, and he was about to shoot somebody, but then team player popped up, and he's like, "Oh my god!" But then they kept popping up, and so then they kept like spawn die. I'm like,
Mhm.
it just
Like
it's
I
too
just I prefer some of the bigger maps, like the mansion that we play on. That's one of my favorites.
See, I haven't even had a
On
chance
the
to play
on
any
the
of the bigger maps.
on the team deathmatch hardcore. And Ken, I said I haven't played the campaign before. If you were here, you would know.
We played on the mansion one.
Yeah, it's kind of like it had a pool and everything. It had the bar and the downstairs. The building is white. I know we played it because you shot me quite a few times there.
Sorry. I'm sorry. I
mean,
need
we
to
did
get
play.
that as like a
In
sound.
all fairness, we did play quite a bit that night because I was trying to get the golden gun on one of my machine guns.
That's right.
I almost have all the camos for it on zombies now.
I don't know how y'all can just like skate through this stuff. That's my problem. Is I feel like if I miss an hour, I'm like 20 levels behind
I
in
just
everything.
well, I was sitting down here with my son. He was napping on my chest, and I was like, "Well,
Mhm.
what am I going to do? Let me grind something out." So I opened up zombies, and I just kept going into Liberty something, the first map, and I just kept trying to see how long I would last on that one weapon.
That's what she
Because
said.
that's something I like about this zombies is you get to select the gun you go in with. Like you
Yeah.
start the map with a gun versus the pistol that you would in the old ones,
Good times with that pistol.
which is neat in my opinion. Because okay, I'm trying to work on this gun. All I want to do is go in and kill shit today. Like
Yeah.
that's all. That's all I did. That's all I did. I kept, and by the time at the end, after I pack a punched it like twice, it'd start getting the hordes would get bigger. I got to like round 25 before I died.
Jesus.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm decent. Not the best. I know people that could fucking rip through that.
Just remember, you're always better than me.
That's not hard.
I know, but you're always better than somebody. That's what I tell Jordan. There's times when he's streaming and he's having a really crappy time, like on Rainbow.
I
I'm
was
like,
gonna say,
hey,
Draven,
just remember.
this is like old school zombies. It is round based. It just
Yeah.
took a few of the things from the open world zombies from Warzone and made it better. Like you have armor plating that will protect you from when you're hit by zombies, and you can upgrade that so you can last longer. They have crafting so you can buy or make armor or upgrade your guns to a different tier. Like it is more in depth this time around, but utilizing the same
But I do like
nostalgia
the round.
factor of round based zombies, and that's what I missed. Like I really
Yeah.
dig this zombies. The only issue I have with it is they only released 2 maps. The maps are huge,
Oh, see, and I haven't
but there's
even
only
paid
2
that
maps.
attention. I think I've only done one go with
Terminus
zombies.
takes place in like a prison silent science lab type of thing, and it's really dark. And I like the map itself, lighting wise, is very dark, and I'm like, I don't like this too much.
Where
I
you
like,
start out in like the one room and there's like people on computers behind you.
yeah, I think so.
Okay.
I can't quite remember. I only played it the once, but
Maybe.
the Liberty one, the first one, it's during the daytime, and I like that because I don't have to worry about going somewhere dark and then getting hit because I can't see the fucker that's hitting me.
Yeah.
And
I just kept
that's the
dying,
first map.
so
Yeah. I wish there were more maps because that's one of the best. Like they have all these different maps from the old games that they could have brought forward.
yeah, and who knows? There could be more.
Oh, I know that they're gonna release like a map pack and you're gonna pay $30 to have all the old maps. And you know what? I'm that dumbass that's gonna pay the $30 so I can go play a Nacht der
Play in the-
Untoten again.
then you got to get your $30 worth.
Oh, I am. I'm gonna.
Oh, we're gonna.
I didn't have to pay for Call of Duty. I just paid for like the $30
Yeah,
Vault
true.
Edition upgrade.
See, the only thing I'm upset about is the lack of skins right now. I'm like, you could have like brought something like there's 2 packs that you can buy from, but I'm like, where are my bitches at?
Well, I feel that they haven't really like released a season for it as well. They're still working on Modern Warfare 3.
Which
Like
is
I
weird.
which I logged into that and the Black Sail like thing was still up. And I think they're still waiting for that like season to end before they move on to the next game, which would be Black
Yeah.
Ops. I think what they're
And I
trying to
can't
do
even
right
buy
now.
anything on that one, on the last one, which sucks.
And that's something I hate about some of these Call of Duties. Like you spend all this money on microtransactions, and then if you move on to the next game, what happens to them?
They just sit there and look pretty.
If they even do that, I uninstalled the game. How am I going to look pretty? It's not even there. You
Why
see
do
what
you
I'm
wanna
saying?
install
Like
the game?
I wish you could bring characters or skins forward
Yeah, that would be nice. But we
because
can't have everything.
I had like the Terminator and RoboCop skins in Warzone because I'm a fucking
Ooh.
nerd.
That'd be a good
And
one.
oh right, dude, playing as Arnold was great. But because he even said like some of the lines, it was awesome. It wasn't him. It was just somebody that sounded like him. But still,
Right,
it was
but
just the
the
fact is
voice was
I was
being
the
there.
Terminator. And
Oh, that'd be dope.
and then I think the new Warzone came out and he was no longer there. Like he wasn't even somebody I can play
What?
as. And it just sucks.
I think Greg's favorite one to use with me was Donnie Darko.
Mm. With the like rabbit mask.
With the rabbit, yeah.
Hmm.
Because he'd come up behind me and do an execution, and it was just ridiculous.
Well,
But
they
he did
had
it just
Black
because he
Noir from The Boys for a while there, and he was broken because his character's literally all black.
Yeah, Terminus is what we did.
On zombies?
Yeah.
That's a map? On the new ones?
Um, Reckless, come back!
Because I think Terminus is the one with the bus, right?
I don't know. I only played one.
Oh,
That's why I'm like, Reckless, come back!
okay. It's all right. I forgive you. I forgive you.
For now.
Now. But yeah, Black Ops 6, I would definitely recommend if you have Game Pass, please download it. It's definitely worth the $14 a month to not
Oh,
play it
yeah.
again in 3 months.
To not play it again in 3 months.
Like I'm saying, like for some people, that's all they play. So it's probably better off that they buy the game. But for somebody like me that will probably play it, maybe prestige once and then never touch it again,
Yeah,
Game Pass is the way to go.
there's someone in Reckless's Discord that doesn't have Game Pass, but he's like, it'd be worth my money just to buy it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, fair enough.
And there is a very, very huge like percentage of gamers that only buy Call of Duty and maybe the new Madden or MLB or whatever sports game they play a year, and that's literally all they play. Like, good on them. Like, if that's what they want to do, sure.
Yeah, like Bob Saget, my buddy.
Mhm.
That's literally mostly what he plays is Call of Duty and Halo.
And I wouldn't really call them gamers. I think as
Well, and he does Tarkov and he does like other games, but
I
that's
understand, but
like,
he's pigeonholing himself into a specific genre. You know what I mean?
yeah.
And I'm not saying that they're not gamers. I'm just saying that they're I would consider them more casual than anything.
Yeah. I mean, fair enough.
And that's just me. Like I consider myself a hardcore gamer because I play damn near everything.
Yeah. A
I'm very big
variety
into like
gamer.
real-time strategy. I like real-time strategy. I like simulation city builder games. I like Call of Duty and Battlefield and shooters and RPGs. Like it really depends on how I'm feeling for the day, to be honest.
Yeah. It I went like a strong like 2 weeks of just playing Call of Duty with Reckless in them. My old lady hands started hurting from constantly like running, sliding, running, sliding. I'm like, I need to go play some Stardew for a little bit. But then we all like ended up switching over to Smite. And so it was like, oh, this is fine, but still, like I catch myself playing Smite, like, okay, let's run. Like, can't run in that game.
Well, I hate to do this to you, but you're starting to like get a little choppy with your vocals.
I am.
Yeah,
Probably because
it's all right. It happens around an hour and 30 minutes to Liam too.
really weird.
Yeah. So I think this would be a good time to call it, don't you?
Yeah, buddy. I need to go eat too now that I'm finally hungry.
Exactly.
And
So, ladies and
then,
gentlemen, I want to thank you all for joining us tonight. This is the Giga Geeks podcast, episode 5, where we just bullshitted today. Originally, we were going to do a podcast about horror games due to the fact that Halloween is in 2 days. However, our other podcaster, Liam, he is currently out sick. So please wish him the best. Like and subscribe, ladies and gents. You can find me over on YouTube, Twitter, Discord. If you want to join the show at some point in time, please hit me up. If you have any suggestions about what we should do an episode on, please send that our way as well. Please like, subscribe to the show, and we'll catch you guys later. Have a good night.
bye.